Hey, Liz.
Hey, my story is a success story for myself, but also for a former bizcrafter.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so a year ago, just over a year ago, last November was one of the kind of darkest areas of my life. I was really struggling. My family was really struggling. At that point, by the end of November, we knew how we were going to pay all of our bills by the end of November, but did not know how we were going to pay them by the end of December. I had lost my job. My husband was losing his job at the end of the month. We had 3 kids who we were homeschooling. And so that limited our ability to work in certain capacities. And we were just feeling really isolated and lonely, and there's a lot of struggle happening. And I knew that I needed change in my life, but I, at that point, could not identify any dreams that I had, anything that I wanted out of my life, anything that I was good at, and just felt really lost. I checked all the boxes previously in life. I'd gotten married, had kids, bought a house, owned a car, had a job. And where was the happiness? Where was the joy? I'd done all the things that you're supposed to do, and none of it was there at the end. So in that space, in that mindset of, I don't know how I'm going to pay for anything. I don't know anything about myself. I don't have any direction. I don't know what I want. I started to see a friend who was in BizCraft post about her own dreams that we've been friends for years and I didn't know about. And her sharing her dreams and what she wanted was so inspiring to me. I reached out to her. I said, what are you doing? Like, what is happening in your life that you are so full of joy and confidence in your passion and your dream that you're sharing it on Facebook? Like, that's just such a weird thing to me. In our friends, we were just not personal on Facebook. We weren't. And so she said, well, I have this dream and this is what I want to do. And I was just like, wow, like that's what I want. But I was so afraid to say that's what I want for my life too. And so I just told her, I really like what you're seeing. And I kept watching. And then she shared about the GYST challenge and that she was going to be coaching it. And this is what she's doing. And I was like, I want to do that. So I messaged her and I said, sign me up. And after I said, like, I want, she said, well, why do you want to sign up for GYST? I said, well, I want direction. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know what's happening next. Like, I don't know if we're even going to be able to keep our house, and I want direction and I want to know what I want out of my life because I don't know. She's like, okay, cool. We sign up for GYST. It's not until January, but we sign up anyway. And the moment I signed up is when things started to change. So before the challenge even started, I made incredible leaps in my life because I knew that direction was coming. I had committed to making a change in my life the moment I signed up for the GYST. So without knowing anything about the volcanoes, anything about coaching, anything about GYST, nothing about BizCraft, when I signed up for that, I went, I'm going to radically change my life. I know it. I'm going to radically change my life. So after I signed up for GYST, I had this crazy idea that I shared with my husband. What if we could sell our house? Because the market was crazy at the time. Houses were selling for way more than they were worth. I was like, what if we sold our house and moved anywhere else in the country? And he's like, well, where would we go? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, we've never traveled. We've never been anywhere. We've lived here our whole lives. Where would we go? I don't know. What if we bought an RV and just traveled the whole country until we found where we wanted to live? And he's like, that's not possible. Like, there's no way we'd get that much money for a house that we could live that way. I'm like, well, what if we called a realtor and asked? So he's like, okay, thinking this is just a crazy idea because I've been talking about running away, doing things differently all the time and never follow through. So I actually called the realtor and I said, what do you think we could get for our house? She came out the next day, toured it, and told us what she thought we could get, which was a crazy amount of money. And my husband and I just looked at each other and we went, fuck it. What else are we going to do? We have nothing lined up, nothing ahead of us. We're both, not working. fuck it, let's do it. Let's change our lives radically. We said yes. So within 3 weeks of signing up for the GYST, I'd sold my house for $150,000 more than asking, and signed on the dot, burned all the fucking boats before I even knew about burning boats, and went, okay, we're radically changing our lives. And I have no idea how, but we have until May to figure it out. This is December, beginning of December. So beginning of January, we go into GYST going, I don't know if this was a huge mistake, but I can't take it back. We've already signed, dotted all the T's and I's. And through the GYST, I was able to identify a lifelong dream that I had and share it with everyone in the group. And the moment I did that, everything started to fall in line. We found a RV who waited for us to get our money from the house to give it to us, like a perfect RV for us. We bought the only truck available in the entire province. We live in Canada, so provinces. The only truck that could pull this RV, we found and purchased. We decided we weren't going to make a plan. We were just going to go and travel and explore and figure it out. The only plan we made was this friend that brought me into the GYST. We wanted to visit her and see what she was doing with her life. Everything fell into place the moment I decided I wanted a different life, and I wanted to shift my mindset and the way that I was thinking. And the moment I said, I'm going to live what I want, I'm not going to be afraid of what I want anymore. So this was less than a year ago. That, you know, the last January GYST is when all of this started to happen. Since then, we have traveled across Canada. We visited our friend, we kept going, but we fell in love with the life that she was building here that was inspired through her work in BizCraft, that we ended up coming back, and we're now living in community with her and her family and working towards helping each other, supporting each other, and working towards our dreams and living our dreams out loud. Through that sale of our house, I was able to bring in the money that when the time came and the BizCraft, I was like, oh, I want to do that, but I'm afraid to tell anyone. So it came and went. I joined the GYST again in May while we're on the road. And I went, I don't know. In May, at that point, I had no idea we were staying. I didn't know where we would be. By the time September came around and BizCraft started, I didn't know if I'd have internet access. I didn't know where I would be living, what I would be doing, but I said, fuck it, take my money, I'm in. This is what I want. This takes me towards my goals, my dreams, and I'm ready. Like I said, I'm all in. I'm ready to live my life how I want it, and I'm ready to have what I want. And so I signed up without knowing how I was going to be able to make it work, but trusting that when I called in what I wanted, it would be there when I needed it. And so here I am, living it and loving it, and feeling love for myself for the first time in my entire life through the work that I've done in BizCraft. The last 6 months, less than 6 months, I've had such incredible leaps personally that I am not the same person that I was the day I signed up for BizCraft. I barely recognize that person because I've made such incredible personal growth and know myself so much deeper than I ever thought I could.
Damn. All right, let's get some twinkle fingers going for Liz. Oh my God. What a powerful story. I love the amount of adventure and courage that you have and that you're discovering and growing. It's so inspiring. And you're doing it with kids, right? The whole traveling in the RV thing.
Got 3 kids. They're 4, 6, and 9.
Oh my God. That's so amazing. How have they been enjoying this process?
They've been thriving in this process because throughout it all, the growth that my husband and I are both experiencing, we take that work and we're living it in front of them. So they are growing up already having these skills because their parents did them. So it's really been incredible to hear, especially my 9-year-old, take what we're modeling for her in our own work and use it on her own siblings. So to be able to go to them and go, well, it happened this morning. This morning before I was even out of bed, I heard it. She has a diary and her brother had drawn all over it and was, I didn't do it, even though she literally saw him do it. She goes, okay, I need a minute. I'm going to go out into the hallway and take a breath, and then we're talking about this. So she goes out into the hallway. I can hear her breathing and talking, whispering to herself. And then she goes back into the room and she says, when you drew on my diary, I felt sad. When I asked you about it and you lied to me, I felt angry. Do you promise to stay off of my bed and away from my shelf for the rest of the day? And he goes, yes. And she goes, okay. And then they just went on playing. So she literally like offer statemented him. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're doing something right.
What's her name?
Her name's Aria.
Aria. Ask her when she would like to be a coach for the volcano. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, Liz, thank you so much. I love that story. Appreciate you so much. And you have so many other stories too. I feel like just recently, just during this last challenge, we were able to hear different layers of your story. So guys, if you want, please give it up for Liz in the chat. Let her know how her story impacted you. And if you have more questions for her, you can always hire Liz as your coach.